Hello, everybody. I'm here with Tina from Organized Me. When you think of somebody who organizes, do you think of grief? Have you ever lost anybody, a family member or a friend, and needed to think about what am I going to do with their things? Are they coming to my house? Am I going to end up dividing it amongst the family the right way? I don't even know where to start. But what I thought I'd do is share an expert. Tina is focused on this along with a lot of other versions of organizing that I just wanted to share with you today. Some pointers when you're dealing with grief. I'm going to open up. Tina, what's the first thing that comes to your mind that we need to know about when we lose somebody and we need to take in their things?
Decluttering and organizing are very powerful things in the midst of grief. And it can accomplish three things. It can give you a sense of control and taking back your space, whether it's your loved one or even if you've loved someone else and their things wind up in your home. Two, it gives them a purpose. They have a purpose that, it'll be different, but they can move on and they can enjoy a little bit of a semblance of the third item, which is normalcy. So organizing and decluttering in the midst and the chaos of grief can give you a sense of control. It can give you a feeling of normalcy, and it can also give you a purpose. You have kind of a purpose that things may not be the same, but you can move on. And so you don't even have to have someone pass away for you to be stuck with sentimental items that you don't know what to do with. So there's a few questions you can ask yourself, and I'll give you an example of me personally. My mom collected dolls, and she gave me some of her dolls. She broke her hip, and about 3 years ago, she's 90, she's 93 now, and they moved into an independent living facility. And she was getting rid of some items. I took the dolls because they were hers. And because, like most of you, I felt I can't get rid of these, it belonged to my mom, I would feel terrible. But then I started to ask more relevant questions. Was this my collection? No. Did I have any interest in this item? Or no. Would I have bought these items? No. So the idea that we have this emotional attachment because we don't feel like we can hang on to these things that are kind of dropped in our laps and given to us. We feel a sense of loyalty and honor, but we don't have to. We don't have to feel guilty. We don't have to feel shame. We love our parents. We don't have to love their stuff. So we have to make that disconnect there. It's stuff. And so what you could do if someone you can ask someone else in the family, would anybody else like these items? So I called my sister and I said, look, I have these dolls from mom, would you like them? And she said yes. So I packed them up and I mailed them to her, and she's enjoying them. So you can do a number of things. You can ask for family, including nieces and nephews and aunts and uncles, if they want any of these perceived treasures to have. And so that's a great way to disperse those things that maybe you don't need or want, but you at the moment can't get rid of. You can see if family wants them. And often the younger people will surprise you. They may want something of grandpa's or something of grandma's, and it's one less thing that you have to handle. So those are tactics that you can use without feeling guilty. Is I would never have collected this. It doesn't mean I don't love my mother if I don't keep the dolls that she sent to me. And so it's okay. I'd rather have one piece of her jewelry, that's more intimate to me. And so those are questions that you can ask yourselves to rid yourselves of this kind of guilt and condemnation when we don't feel like we can keep things that belong to people we love. Otherwise, you will wind up with a home full of artifacts that you kind of don't need, you don't want. They're cluttering up your space. And when they do that, it starts to affect us emotionally. We start to feel like, really, this isn't our stuff to manage. This wasn't our stuff to have to deal with to begin with. And so I hope that helps you have an understanding of the questions you can ask yourself and the tactics you can use to rid yourself of these feelings of, I feel so guilty for doing that.
Well, I know that with I have all my mom's Disney collections. I love it. Yet slowly and surely, I mean, she's been gone for a while now, and slowly they're getting covered with dust, or they're getting dirty, or they're getting broken. And then you start having that little bit of a sense of, really, I want to hold on to them now. Where can I put them? And when is the right time to either donate it to somebody else who would enjoy them, or fix them, or repair them, or even sometimes, unfortunately, throw some of them away. And then, of course, Chuck has some things from his parents that are really nice items, and we have them all stuffed up in our curio cabinet. So yes, I can personally relate to the fact that there's a lot of things, and the struggle of sitting here thinking, okay, at what point is it okay? And do you give yourself permission to say, now it's a good time to be able to donate that to something that would be a better use place for that? Or, like I said, when they start to break, just have peace and just say, you know what, I enjoyed it, and now it's okay to throw them away. So again, that's why I'm bringing the subject up with you, Tina, because I can kind of relate on that. And if
Well,
there's
that's a great
any,
question. It's a great question when. And the reality of the when is there's never a designated time. This idea that, if it's like three out of every four people right now have storage units. They are full of items we don't need, we don't want, we don't use. Three out of four Americans, I believe at this point, have storage units paying thousands of dollars. So the reality is, if this thing is in an attic and it's wrapped and it's been there for 15 years, who has who's the benefit of that thing that brought joy to your family? Maybe you can donate some things, maybe to an assisted living, maybe to an antique store where someone else could buy it and enjoy it. And the right time, which is a really great question, is when you've had enough of feeling overwhelmed and holding on to these items. So the time would be when you decide that these these are things that brought joy to my mom and or dad or whomever the family member was. They're really not my jam, so to speak. And the other thing you do is you can pare that collection down. Maybe you save three out of a collection of, if they're cups, I think you said cups or something. You don't want to break up China, but nobody really wants the China anymore, especially the younger generation. So we have to accept the fact that our kids may not want all the things that had value to us. And that's a poignant point to say it had value to that person. They are the one that collected it. That was not my decision to acquire that. I did not have an affinity for that thing. And so to keep it just because we feel guilty, it's not serving us emotionally, financially, it's not serving our space. And we want to have our space. We want to have the things that we enjoy and that are functional. We want those things to have the prime real estate, so to speak. We want to be able to visualize them or see them on a shelf. And when you walk by, it evokes an emotion. Maybe it's a smile, or maybe it's a laugh, maybe it's a memory. When we're holding on to things that belonged to other people in their lives, we don't really necessarily get the benefit of that in the same way that they did.
well, the way I look at it too is sharing the fact that who's watching this video, are not the only one going through these thoughts. And, when you look around and you just say, there's just too much in my house, I
Yeah.
can't function anymore because, and so that's the reason why I wanted to do this video, because a lot of times, especially as we're going through our different phases of life, we all
Yeah.
go through similar things that we could help each other with. And Tina is an expert on this. So if you need any further conversation about this topic, or even anything else that is about organizing, please reach out to Tina. How best to reach you, Tina?
You can reach me at facebook.com Tina organized me. You can reach me at my website, which is www.com, Tina organized me. You can call me at 386-479-1746. You can email me at organizeme911@yahoo.com. So there's lots of ways to reach me, and I would be happy to help you figure out a way out of how you feel, you know.
Fantastic. Well, Tina has a lot of different topics we're going to talk about, so definitely subscribe, and then that way you're notified when she comes on board talking about a different topic. Anyway, thanks so much,
Thanks
and
for
I hope
having
this
me.
helps you all.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.